Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been doing something that I don't normally do. I have been rereading. This is not something I've especially done in the past. There are a few exceptional authors that I have, of course, reread from time to time. Authors like Hugh MacLennan, authors like Enid Blythe, authors like Gabriel Garcia Marquez. But for the most part, I have not been a rereader. And recently I've been asking myself why this is. I'm a goal-oriented person when it comes to my reading. And even before Goodreads existed, I would keep track of what I read. I would keep what I called a book journal. I'll show you what mine looks like at the moment. About a year ago, I actually did a video showing off my book journals, but this is my book journal for now. I use this as well as Goodreads. I kind of consider this my personal record, and Goodreads is kind of a social thing that I do as well. But as you can see, I put the title, I give it a star rating, I keep track of the copyright date, of the translator, of the date that I read it. I used to be very particular about this. I would put date started and date finished. Lately, I've been losing track of that, so I just put read March 14th, 2016, for example. But when I first started this, when I was 14, 15, I would keep careful track of that. Of course, things have changed over the years. I didn't used to do the translators. I didn't used to keep track of which country the author is from. For instance, here I have French, Italian, American, French, Canadian, American, Russian, Italian, Chile, Colombian, and so on and so forth. But I think part of the reason that I wasn't rereading all that much was because I am a goal-oriented reader. I like to see the numbers pile up. I like to see new titles. Somehow I felt that if I was rereading something, it didn't really count as a new book, as a new number towards my goal. But for whatever reason, that has changed recently, and for instance, this past week I have enjoyed rereading Pablo Neruda. I read his love poems, which I read for the first time last year. On Tuesday, I was headed out to a friend's birthday dinner, and I threw 20 love poems and a song of despair into my purse and read it on the bus. I had my mom mail me my copy of Federalism and the French Canadians by Pierre Elliott Trudeau, which is something that I first read when I was in high school, I believe. And most of it went over my head at that point, but now that I have a bachelor's in political science and I'm taking a master's level course in Canadian federalism, I really wanted to go back to this landmark work and see exactly what I had read, what I had missed, what I could get from this now. I like to think that over time, as I read things, I grow, my knowledge expands, my perceptions expand, and for me, reading a new book is a way of doing that. But there's no reason why returning to a work that I read before can't do the same thing. I guess what got me thinking about rereading so much lately was first of all the fact that my Existentialism Goodreads book club was reading Existentialism is a Humanism by Sartre, and I read that for this month, and that was indeed a reread for me, and I got a lot more out of it this time. I think I understood it more, it meant more to me this time than when I first read it over a year ago. Now, I know that this topic has been absolutely talked to death on BookTube. I've watched countless videos about rereading, why people do, why people don't, why people do sometimes but not always. So I don't expect there to be a large amount of conversation on this. But I do wonder, am I the only one who has changed my views on rereading over time? Leave me a comment, I guess. I'm just going to sit here and drink my $8 wine, and then I'm going to go make some macaroni salad for dinner and get into my weekend here.